Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Happy Thursday. It is June 15th, the day after the Fed announcement, right? We had the Federal Reserve come on the wire yesterday. We had Jerome Powell coming on, and we got a pause in rate hikes. So that was the final decision, right? And going forward, it's still a little unclear as to how they will proceed. So this is the break of a 10 straight hike streak by the Federal Reserve over the last 14 months. So, yesterday, it kept its policy unchanged at the Fed, and we ended up with the 5 to 5.25%, right? Nearly all policymakers still feel that further hikes would be appropriate this year. And this was in accordance to what Jerome Powell had said, who added that none of them projected cuts in 2023. So markets initially were rattled by the Fed's year-end peak rate projection, but ended up mixed with as traders sized up the dot plot. Overall, right, we kind of ended flat on the day, I believe, something like that. Like Nasdaq even popped its head above the highs before starting the sell-off on the overnight session. So we've seen a lot of analysts and investors out there talking about that the Fed needs to do more aggression to rein in inflation. The fact that the market is overbought, that an overbought market didn't tumble on bad news is bullish for stocks. So realistically, a lot of this inflation, we talked about this before. We talked about Trueflation, that Twitter website, and it doesn't seem like things are as bad as they seem. So inflation can get subdued even at some point this year, realistically, with maybe one or two more hikes, and we'll see how that kind of goes down. We traded this event live with our trading room yesterday. We caught a nice piece of the short and also found some of the rotation back to the upside. Currently in a swing position on NASDAQ, thinking that NASDAQ is going to see a tumble, right? Tech is going to see a tumble. So that swing position opened near those tops yesterday. Overall, over a 100-point move right now. And I'm looking for some kind of pullback in tech. I think that we begin the or in tech, like the 7 to 10% pullback, and other equities, 5 to 7% pullback. I think that does start this week slash next week. And I don't necessarily think that we peak too much higher than where we are right now. I think there's a lot of liquidity to the downside, and traders are repositioning. There is a sector rotation that is taking part in tech right now, and we'll see that kind of shape up over the next few days, in my opinion. So overall, the in terms of tech as well, the European Commission is threatening to break up Google's advertising technology business amid antitrust issues and concerns, and the regulators it takes the issue with Google favoring its own online display ad tech services over competitors. But a Google executive counters that the claims are not new and related to a narrow part of the advertising business. So the search giant could be hit with a $8 billion or 8 billion euro in penalties due to alleged anti-competitive practices, which I don't think that's that much in the grand scheme of things. To Google, obviously it is a lot, but I don't know if this even goes through, but Google probably won't get too affected by that. There are some tech names that are already turning. Nvidia is not one of them, but Apple, Microsoft, kind of Google, Amazon, they are kind of starting that turnaround where I think a lot of these dips are going to get bought into July or at the end of July and into August. So that's something that I'm going to be watching out for on the medium term. But in terms of other news, there's not really too much. There's nothing really of great concern. We can take a look at the Federal Reserve um, expectations for the July meeting. The July meeting is at the end of the month this time around. So end of July, what was it, the 26th or something? I believe yesterday we talked about it. Um, the expectations, there's a probability of one rate hike right now. A single 25 bip hike is expected at about 65% as it stands. Now, naturally, there is a lot of time until that opens up. We still have PCE data to come out towards the end of the month, which is the Federal Reserve's main gauge of inflation. So, coming back into the markets, talking about what happened here? Talking about what's it called? The levels and the ideas. I think that we're in a position where the Fed um or we're in a position where the market starts to kind of rotate to the downside. I was looking for a little pop and drop this morning, right? Maybe into the area that we're trading right now, 4407s, 4408s, maybe 4415, 16, 14 in that region. I think that's going to be the top end of the move where the bulls start to fail ultimately and the bears do take over. I think that today in the S&P 500 futures, it's going to be very pivotal to see a break and close under the 4380 for the bear side, right? So I'm going to be looking a little more bearish to start the day. I don't want to get too aggressive with it. Yesterday, like I was telling our members, right, to start the day, number one, there was a thunderstorm that actually just destroyed our power, but that's besides the fact. I had two trades looking for the short yesterday while I saw trapped shorts, right? This was a huge grave mistake, and it was a very bullish DOM. Everything was setting up bullish, but I decided to short twice and right took a loss on that, but came back very well with our trading room. I'm shorting the 44.15s yesterday in the FOMC period, dropping down into those 90s or so. So overall ended up with a good day. I don't want to be biased about this situation or overtly biased. We're going to read what the information tells us, and I think that as it stands right now, those sellers are going to have to get active in these regions at 4407, 4408. Final chance 44.15s in that region, plus or minus 1 or 2 points. And the buy side would do well to try to sustain that 80, mid 70s and high 60s. I think into the high 60s is going to be a really strong area for strong-handed longs to come into on the S&P 500 futures. So with that being said, I hope everyone has an amazing day. If all goes well with NASDAQ swing and the trading day today, right, tomorrow, not really anticipating to trade. So we'll probably do a little more of an educational lesson in the morning for our members at TradePro Academy, but we're going to be opening up our trading room in just a bit, so go check that out at tradeproacademy.com. And next week, keep an eye out on an email, right? For everyone watching, we will most likely open our trading room up again as we did for our workshop, and I hope to see you all there. So thank you, everyone, and take care. Hope you have an amazing Thursday, and let's get ready to wrap up the week tomorrow with the final trading day of the week before a long weekend. On Monday, actually, markets are closed for Juneteenth, right? It's the futures market is probably going to be open until like 1 p.m., but the overall equity market is going to be closed, so no trading on Monday. Not even going to be looking at the screens on Monday. We're going to be back on Tuesday, maybe see what happens on the overnight session on Sunday, but that's about it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow to wrap up the week, and then back on Tuesday. So everyone have a great long weekend. I'll see you guys later. Happy trading. Trade smaller. Let's see if these bears really have something in them or back to the moon. So take care, everyone.